You ever see LeBron guard a white boy? It's called what it is. You ever see him do that?
All right, so Stephen A. Smith was on a recent podcast, and of course, he spoke on LeBron James. And apparently, Stephen feels like LeBron doesn't keep the same energy with white commentators in sports media as he does with black commentators like Stephen A. himself. I was trying to figure out how to word that, but y'all get it. He feels like LeBron is more rough on the black commentators, but he gives the white ones a pass. Let's see what Stephen A. had to say. Y'all better like the video. Y'all better subscribe. Let's get it.
About in professional sports, but primarily the NBA, where you got cats and they go at NBA players and stuff like that. Like, you know, you bring up LeBron. You ever see LeBron guard a white boy? It's called what it is. You ever see him do that? You saw him come at me. Closest you ever came to seeing him do something like that was when he called out Brian Windhorst. What you calling out Brian Windhorst for? The man covered you since junior high school and has praised you repeatedly. And you used the Pat McAfee situation to go at him. You understand? And that's the only time you ever seen LeBron James, really go at somebody white. I'm gonna call it what it is. So we understand each other. I understand a lot more. And I'll tell you, I'll divulge to my boy and his boy right here, when I did my monologue for 17 and a half, 18 minutes, the day after he decided to go on Pat McAfee's show, all right? And I said what I said and meant every syllable of what I said. Immediately after, I was informed that we won't be hearing more from him about me. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Because I got receipts. Anytime, any place, anywhere. It's not just him. I pride myself on being a fair-minded individual, being professional, but I'm also a proud black man. And I know not only what I've done, what I've tried to do for black men in our industry, black men in the world of sports, covering stuff the way that I do. I might have to call you out sometimes, but you know why I'm calling you out? Because there's a whole bunch of other black people I got to look out for, and they can't make the same errors you just made, because if they did, it would ruin their life. You're ultra talented, so you could get away with it. So I could talk about how wrong you are, but I need to use you as that example because I got a bigger vision. And the bigger vision is to make sure to shield cats from making those same kind of mistakes that will end their careers. You don't have to worry about that because you're too talented and gifted and you've already achieved so much that you don't have to worry about that. But do they look at it that way? Do they look at the big picture? No. Why? Because they want to hate on you. I've been in this business for over 30 years. There is not a single athlete, a single executive, a single owner. There is no one associated with sports that could tell you they came up to me and said they want to talk to me. They picked up the phone and said they want to talk to me, and I refused to talk to them. And that after talking to me, if I got their perspective, I got you. Because I don't have to agree with you.
Yep.
But if you're man enough to talk to me and give me your perspective, I have an inherent obligation professionally to make sure that I contextualize your words properly and I present them in a fashion that you asked me to do that. When that doesn't happen, it's because these cats refuse to talk to me. And if you refuse to talk to me, why? What's the reason? Could it be because you don't have an argument? Could it be because you can't sit before me and put your facts up against mine and have a discussion man to man? Because if I'm wrong, I'm going to say I'm wrong. And I've proven throughout my career that if I'm wrong publicly, I'm not going to apologize privately. I will come and apologize publicly. See, with somebody like LeBron, you ain't get no apology. I'm too little. I'm too meaningless. I'm too insignificant for somebody like him to be man enough to say, yo, you really didn't do that to my son. You were really calling me out. I was the one that, whether it's getting him into the draft, getting him drafted by the Lakers, having him brought up from the G League, putting him up against Tyrese Maxey in the first quarter on a night after he was in the G League the night before. I didn't call those things out until that last part happened. I didn't say anything when he's a McDonald All-American and he was only averaging 14 points a game. I didn't say anything when he went to USC and he had the heart ailment and people were speculating about why that was. I didn't say anything when he said he was entering the NBA draft. I didn't say anything when he ended up getting picked by the Lakers. I didn't say anything when he was there opening night with the Griffies. Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. celebrating. I stood up and applauded.
That's a great moment.
I thought it was a great moment. And most importantly, I thought LeBron James deserved it because he did so much for the league. I said the league owes him this. Whatever he wants. If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. And the money, he's underpaid. So I don't care what his son getting paid. Go for it. I think his son's going to end up being a good pro. He keeps working on his game. I said all of these things. It's just that after one night in Philly, I said, wait a minute now. Now you asking us to ignore doing our job. We saw what we saw. He's not ready yet. That doesn't mean he won't be ready. And because of that, you caused this whole brouhaha? Nah, we not backing up from that. No, nobody is getting me to back up from that at all. LeBron was wrong. And he will forever be wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, anybody in this business or anybody that wants to be in this business, especially these athletes with their podcasts that don't see it, well, just consider yourself blind or unethical. Because anybody with professional ethics who knows sports and knows what comes with it knows I did not do anything wrong to that young man. But to paint me as somebody that would attack a child just because I dislike you, it's low. It's low, and that's what it is, and that's where it's gonna stay. And the only reason I said it is because you asked me, and it's because of how I feel, and I'm not going to change. And if he don't say nothing, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna do my job. If there's another confrontation, I assure you I'll be better ready and better prepared this time.
Now, first I want to say, I wish Stephen A would have put a name on it when he says LeBron is sparing white commentators. Tell me who the commentators are that you think LeBron is sparing. Put a name on it. Let us know who you think LeBron is treating differently than he treats you. And I also wonder, was Stephen A trying to say he never said nothing to Skip Bayless? Skip Bayless been riding him for years. But you notice after he said that, he just started to continue saying a lot of things that we heard him say on the Gilbert Arenas podcast or any other platform where he talks about the LeBron situation. By the way, it's important for you guys to notice when he talks about the Bronny and LeBron situation, he's not doing it on ESPN. I wonder if ESPN told him, hey, don't discuss this situation on our platform. And to me, that goes into a bigger point, and this is my theory, that LeBron James purposely picked Stephen A to send a message across the league to all the other commentators. Hey, if I can disrespect Stephen A. Smith and he's at the top of the top, he just got this big, $20 million contract from ESPN. If I can embarrass him for talking about my son, imagine what I would do to y'all. And I think that message stuck. Because you see everybody else, they're handling Bronny with the kid gloves. Who's really out there saying, hey, I know y'all putting highlights of Bronny catching a tip dunk, but look at the game. He's playing horribly. It's a guy that breaks down Bronny on YouTube about all the mistakes he makes. And look, he's young. He should make mistakes, but some of the mistakes he makes, a pro shouldn't make them. And while I'm a big supporter of Bronny, and I want to see him overcome all of the hate he's getting, I'm still not mad at anybody who says he took an opportunity from another young man who was probably more deserving to be in the NBA. But once again, two things can be true, because I do feel like LeBron has done so much for the NBA that he deserves some of the perks. And maybe one of those perks should be being able to facilitate his son getting into the NBA. But at the end of the day, I don't think Stephen A said anything about Bronny. Look, people on the internet have been destroying Bronny. Stephen A. Smith never echoed any of those sentiments on ESPN, and he wouldn't do it. I saw everybody talking about LeBron as a father. Stephen A. never said LeBron was a bad father. He just talked about how he was handling Bronny's basketball career. And I kept telling y'all, it's cool when people criticize LeVar Ball, but we can't criticize LeBron James for how he's handling his son's career. But it was okay when y'all was talking about LeVar shouldn't be saying this and LeVar shouldn't be saying that. But it's LeBron James, and we give LeBron James passes because we love LeBron. And he's, you know, the perfect black man. He never cheats. He never got in trouble. But what's not perfect about LeBron is his attitude, how he treats some of these media people. Look, I'll say he's the best point guard. I'll say he's probably the best teammate. That doesn't mean that there isn't any negatives that come with him being a leader. Yeah, he's won championships with guys who didn't like some of the shit he did in the locker room. My whole point is he's not perfect. He's not above criticism. And this Bronny situation is not above criticism either. So once again, I don't blame Stephen A for holding a grudge or anything like that. But I will say, when you say that LeBron is mistreating the brothers in sports media, I feel like you should be a little more specific. Because, yeah, you can say you never saw him say nothing crazy about a white boy. But still, you know, put some names on it. Let us know what's really going on. Because like I said, after that, y'all see him just continue to talk about the things he spoke on at Gilbert Arenas' podcast and other podcasts. So it's like, you know, what are you really saying? Did you just really use that as a way to continue to talk about your LeBron James grievances? Or do you feel like you really have a point? I would have liked if he really explained that. Because I really feel like Stephen A, he has some names. And I think Skip is at the top of that list. You know, this situation between LeBron and Stephen A, it gets tricky. And I honestly hope that one day they can sit down and actually speak and squash it. If you ask me, they might squash it once LeBron retires. Because sometimes I feel like when you're an athlete, you need that motivation. You need certain people to hate. You know how they used to say Michael Jordan would make up these stories in his head about other players and that would push him to have a better game. I think for players nowadays, certain media people help them achieve the same thing, right? They use media guys as fuel for the fire to make them go off for 50 points and stuff like that, right? So y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.